Hello again, my name is Ash and today I want to share my experience with you about a newly created game that combines the concepts of a third-person action game, RPG and even, God forgive me, Metroidvania. To be honest, I did not expect much from it because ambitious and good-looking game footages shown before release often turn to really bland and tasteless games after their release. Thankfully, it's not the case here. Don't get me wrong, it has its drawbacks, especially from strictly technical perspective. However, gameplay-wise, I found it really fun and really enjoyable. Before I give you my five major reasons why you should play it, I'd better mention one major reason why you shouldn't play it. Optimization. It's bad, for real. I heard rumors of consoles, both Xbox and PS4, giving players 15 to 20 FPS, making a game a complete unplayable slideshow. As for me playing on quite a decent PC, it was rather challenging sustaining the level of 60 FPS without turning graphical settings to mid-low or something like that. I really hope that it's been optimized better in future patches than it was like initially. Otherwise, if you don't have a modern PC with gaming hardware, unfortunately you risk not getting the best performance and image quality for enjoyable gaming. Other than that, let's move on to the more fun and better stuff. First, the design, style and the graphics. While being not the best game when it comes to the optimization, as I've said before, it offers a really unique way of style and design. Yes, the design of major characters and enemies is rather generic and full of cliches, cause we talk about like localized techno-catastrophe with the sci-fi stuff here. But the design of levels, protagonists' abilities and weapons is truly a novelty, giving us a completely new look on how an action game can be represented. The design of weapons is memorable and exciting to an extent that you start caring less about their functionality while trying to see a newly found weapon more and more often and figure out like what's it's all about. As for the levels, one might consider them quite standard for a setting chosen for the narrative, but for me the inclusion of the hiss affected structures makes all the difference, cause the combination of cold white walls, black floors and reddish infected areas is a tease for eyes, like for real. The same goes for paranormal levels, where you see all kinds of weird stuff. I'm not gonna spoil anything, so you gotta believe me on that, I'm sorry. Secondly, the story. There definitely are reviews complaining about the game's overall plot to be confusing and incoherent. However, I miss such a story in modern art, like including literature, music, movies and of course video games, that will make me question what was that about. It is all because the story is not being fed directly to the player and instead is being given in randomized portions coming from different characters and their quests. In other words, it is more than normal for you to feel like you have no effing idea what you're doing, what your mission is all about and who is actually the hero you're playing. In short, and without any spoilers, let me elaborate on that. Like, not that I understood too much about it, but let me try my best here. We've got Jesse Faden entering the building of mysterious Federal Bureau of Control that looks and feels like the office of Men in Black, the same level of strangeness and paranormal activity like everywhere. We find out that Jesse is capable of controlling various psychokinetic, whatever powers that come from unknown source, and we gotta figure it out as well. To fight the hiss, so this hiss is some sort of power with unclear nature that needs to be stopped before it corrupts the humanity once and for all. In short, it's your basic save the world BS. In detail, it's much deeper and complex because the nature of hiss, the enemies and NPCs hold mysteries of their own. Thus, the game shifts from sci-fi blockbuster to personal drama to sci-fi suspense thriller and back to personal drama because everything is intertwined with everything and nothing is being explained like clearly and directly. For example, it takes really much effort figuring out who is the janitor, our only ultimate ally, and why does he even help us. Personally, I still got no effing idea who he is and what he is about. In total, the major plotline is being resolved right in the end, like instantly. But it doesn't give all the answers you might want, which is really awesome for me. Also, liked the acting and dialogues here. Currently, it's so rare to get a female character that is charismatic, smart, and good looking, and don't get me wrong, without any over-sexualization, while being inhumanly powerful. I'm looking at you, Andromeda. Other characters are memorable and actually represent living people that express themselves not like some worthless robots with a clunky animation. I'm looking at you again, Andromeda. Third and most important, engaging and enjoyable gameplay. We're being given a weapon right from the start, further followed by psychic powers and different modifications to enhance them. Next, we're getting an array of main and side quests that also allow us to move relatively freely inside the gaming environment. I got hooked on exploration of different rooms and territories that all hold their own histories and reward with some resources, some power-ups, some bonuses, whatever. In other words, exploration here is widely encouraged. However, some of the areas are only being unlocked once you acquire a certain skill or quest item. That's why the Metroidvania part. But when it comes to this, you are simply required to follow the main quest and you'll get everything resolved. Side quests are also perfectly realized, despite them being as cliché as possible. Mostly we get to either collect X number of items or kill X number of enemies. However, the context for the quests compensates this a lot, which makes it worthwhile spending time in game even after the ending credits. Fourth, the combat, and its separate reason, cause it's like big enough for me. Sure, we could have included this in a gameplay section, but I believe it is a separate point. We've got the Matrix effect here, like everywhere. The level of destructions and psychic powers executions only reminds of the awesomeness of effects of destructing everything to pieces that we've seen in the Matrix movies. Next, flying around, shooting enemies from alien-type weapon and overpowering them with skills is just a reason that I appreciate in this type of game where you don't have to survive. Instead, you'll have to whoop the enemy's asses in the most baddest way possible. Or you can simply defeat everyone with a throwing skill. It never gets boring for me as well. Finally, the fifth reason. It's relatively short and it doesn't waste your time. I mean, the game doesn't waste your time. There is an array of modern games that make everything possible and impossible to make the players stay inside the game for as long as possible, like it makes it somehow better. I don't know why do they do this. They do not prioritize the concentration of the content instead of focusing on their duration. This game takes 12 to 15 hours to beat and it rarely loses in dynamic, while there are hiccups occasionally, especially when you get lost inside the map. From start to finish, you are being given a highly dynamic, engaging and highly thoughtful action game that makes you experience a variety of emotions, from sincere excitement to real horror, even though there is no actually scary moments in here. It's like the season of a good AAA show that gets you a wow effect and instantly ends. It might seem that this review is too complimentary and too positive and too like preferring this game without no real criticism, but personally I was pleasantly surprised with it at many levels. It really feels bad that the game requires the high-end hardware to function best, but for what it's offering, it's still a minor drawback here for me. I'd rate it 4.5 out of 5 and definitely recommend for you to play. You'll get a lot of experience from the game that is currently one of the closest to the next-gen status. Maybe. Probably. At least for me. And so that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you're here for the first time, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment about whether you've been playing this game or not, whether you liked it or not, and about what should I review next in my future video. Or simply tell me what you think about it on Twitter. And now, that's it for today. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.